Let's correct this. Notice that this was fairly guided. I won't, for example, the formula was there. It told you that these were SAS scenarios, right? That's not going to happen moving forward, so just keep an eye on that. So triangle ABC. So for part A, right, triangle ABC. So you just go ahead and not drawn to scale, but just draw your triangle. Most likely not going to be a right triangle, so don't go for those, right? You're so used to seeing them. So 25 would be here, 18 would be here, and 52 is that angle in between is right there. So you can tell that this is an SAS scenario. It doesn't matter if you started A, B, C, right? You might have them in a different corner of your diagram. That's okay, right? You're still going to get the same answer. It's basically just a turned triangle, right? So notice that it's SAS. So we want to find side B. That's really all we can do. There's no pair, so this is cosine law. So B squared, right? To find that, I'd have to take the other two and square it, minus 2 times 25 times 18, right? You just multiply them, and then you take cosine of that angle, the only angle provided. So that's what you get there. I would say this: if you have your diagram, and so I would give you 1 mark for that today, right? A decent diagram with the numbers where they belong. Then I would give you another mark for setting it up correctly. And then you're going to get a 3rd mark for actually calculating it, actually coming up with the right answer. So I need to do this because I couldn't find the key. Just bear with me. So that is, I need to take the root, right? Because B squared, if I want B, I need to take the root of all of that. And I go ahead and do that. Copy it into the root. You get 19.87. And we don't know what the units are. So we'll just put units down. Okay. And you get a mark for that. So a mark for coming up with the correct answer. Okay. Today, if you didn't put units, we'll let it go. But if it doesn't give you the units, you just put down units, right? That's the universal. Whatever units would have been used, inches, kilometers, centimeters, that's what you would have added to it, right? So this is A. 3 marks, okay? 3 marks for A. Let's do that on the side here. And then for B, I will uncover that and I'll just make a diagram. DEF. DEF. And I'm told that D is 49. F is 43. And E is 102. Notice that that's an obtuse angle. There's a bit of a note there. If you remember, right, cosine of an obtuse angle will be, right, a negative. You'll get a negative out of that, and vice versa. Taking a negative, the inverse of a negative gives you an obtuse angle. So, anyways, we want to find E, right? The same thing again. E squared is equal to 43 squared plus 49 squared minus 2 times 43 times 49 times cosine of 102. E is square root of, so you just type that in, right? 43 squared plus 49 squared minus 2 times 43 times 49 times cosine of 102, and you get 5,126.1398, and that keeps going. I take the root of that, and that's 71.59, which, what does that do? It turns this into a 6, right? 60 units. If you didn't round like that, then you would lose half a mark for rounding, okay? Rounding incorrectly. So same thing here, 1 mark for diagram, 1 mark for setup, 1 mark for calculating And so it's still worth 3 here. And here comes part B, right? Let me just fold it. So 6 marks for part A, right? Let's fold it here. Okay, so the first one is triangle ABC. So again, best thing is to draw your triangle. And in this case, it's all sides, right? So it's actually fairly easy to label, just making sure they go in the right place. Not drawn to scale. Find the largest angle. The largest angle is across the longest side, so we want to find angle A, right? So we're going to go cosine of that angle we're interested in. And remember the trick, right? The first number you write down is the side opposite to the angle you're interested in, and it has to have a negative, right? A minus in front of it. And then you take the other two sides, square, and add it, right? And then those two sides show up again in the denominator, except for there's a 2 in front. So if you have sketched this, you get 1. If you set it up correctly, it has to be exactly like this. It's 1 for the setup. And then I think the way I should, it's been a long weekend, right? So I sometimes forget how I showed you to solve this, but I think I did the top and then the bottom, correct? I'm fairly confident that that's how I would have shown you because it's the safest way to do it, right? You get negative 83, right? Very important. 2 times 13 times 18, that's 468. You should get a bigger denominator, right? This should be, if you turn it into a decimal, it should start with a 0. Not, you're going to get an error. So cosine of A, if you know what, in this case, it's okay to do, like this is mathematically correct to say angle A is going to be cosine inverse of that. It's okay to do that. Okay. If you turn this into a decimal, that's fine, right? So I will go, how about I will just show you that that should be negative, not positive. I just quickly just divided the numbers, right? So that's angle A is cosine inverse of negative 0.177, and that keeps going. You do not need to add this line. I would probably do that on an answer key so I can tell whether or not you got it right. I'm going to just turn this into a negative by multiplying it by -1 there. And second cosine of that, and you get 100.22 degrees. A mark for setup, and you get a mark for the correct final answer, provided that the notation is correct. This being optional here. It's up to you how you want to do it. 3 marks there. So B, what's it asking there? Find all angles. So that one was going to be a bit more work. I think I'm going to incorporate sine law here. Okay, so to review sine law. And I think I'm going to do this on the back side of my paper. So let's go ahead and do that. For B, let's sketch it. So after today, it's going to be word problems, okay? Or like after this correction, that's what we're going to focus on. No longer just a triangle, okay? Oh, what did I do there? F is 15, my bad. And D is 18. F is 15. E is 18. Okay, got it. What kind of a triangle is this? Isosceles. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Same side. So it really doesn't matter how you want to approach this. Some of you, maybe there is an error in this one. Maybe I'll have to take it back, my comment. But I'll find E first. If you given an option, guys, find the largest angle first. Okay. In this case, both of these are going to be the same. So I'm going to find angle E. I probably won't need sine law. Anyways, so cosine of angle E is minus 18 squared. Right? I'm thinking of this side here, and then it's 15 squared plus 18 squared. So obviously these are going to cancel out, right? Then it's 2 times 15 times 18. Okay? So this, you can actually do that, right? That just goes to 0. And it's really just 15 squared, which is what, 225? I better make sure on a Monday morning, right? 225, and then it's 30 times 18, 540. There we go. So that's, I would give you a mark for diagram, a mark for setup, right? And then angle E is cosine inverse of 225 over 540, that is. And I'm going to go second, cos of 225 divided by 540. And that's 65.38 degrees. Also, right, angle what? Angle D is 65.38 as well. Isosceles, right? Because, right, if these two are the same, then it stands to reason that, right, the angles across these two sides will also be the same. So no need for sine law here. I'm just going to go and find angle F, which is 180 minus 2 times 65.38. So angle F doesn't like what I did. Oh, I see. You're being picky here. 49.24. So you get a mark for diagram, a mark for setup, and a mark for coming up with the 65.38. You get another mark for coming up with the other 65.38, and another mark for coming up with the 49.24. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B is worth 5 marks. So what is it? 8 and 6? That's 14 total. Okay, so make sure you have a total there out of make sure your name and last name is on there, and then pass it forward, and we'll get our notes out.